Hi, everyone. It is Joseph with iConixxx. Thanks again for checking out this library that we are building in the YouTube. It is truly amazing. We are on our 15th week right now of interviewing global icons in the industry of hair and more, of course. And today it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone that is going to be an amazing interview. And as I always say, you know, just sit back. If you have questions or anything, always reach out to us on our iConixxx Facebook page, which is iConixxx, or Instagram, which is iConixxx dot.
I
always get that screwed up, Chris. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
So
Instagram.
it's iConixxx.x.
That's a lot of X's.
Yeah, that is. And it's not X-rayed like porn or anything. The X's are actually shears. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is throw it over to my amazing friend and confidant and hostess of iConixxx and a great stylist herself, Chris Sorby. Chris, there you go. Pleased to see you today.
Likewise, Joseph, likewise. And, you know, we are absolutely honored to have our guest on today. He's a world-renowned hairstylist, innovator, owner of 4 salons, founder of the Eric Fisher Academy. And if that's not enough, he's a platform artist and educator for Aquage. He is the only Eric Fisher.
Sir Eric Fisher.
I'm on it. What a pleasure.
We are so delighted to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, so it's really good to see your face.
My pleasure.
So thank you. Yes.
Chris, can I interrupt you beautifully and professionally?
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is going to happen that I forgot to say, and I have a feeling that this man's going to have it, is please, if you don't have paper and pen, I believe Eric could be directing you to possible books or things that he's related to that could really be beneficial to you in this industry. So for those of you that are students, write this down. Those of you that are stylists and that are contemplating doing certain things in your life, this is going to be the time for you to actually take note. And on that note, Chris, sorry, but I throw it back to you.
No worries. So my first question to you, Eric, is what is the most important lesson that life has taught you?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Well, first of all, great seeing you again, Chris. It's been a long time, and you know, it's you never age. You look fabulous. You know, that's a great question. The life has ever taught me. I would say that you get back what you put out, and you put out good stuff, you get back good stuff. And when they say you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, I think that's really true. You know, run with the wolves, you'll begin to howl. And it's important to
what? Write that down.
Who you want to, who you want to be, what you want to do. And I think life tells me that you got to work hard, that nobody's going to hand it to you. No matter how good you think you are, you can always be better. And you're always going to fall on your ass, no matter how good you are. And you just pick yourself back up, you keep going. And you can't let past experiences define your future successes. And I think that, you know, we all have a handful. I know everybody on this call probably has a handful of challenges where we could have been defined by those challenges, but you can't. You got to just get over it. And like I tell my students, hey, I don't care where you've been, what you've done. Today's a new day. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. So focus in on who you want to be and work intently on becoming that person. And that's what I think. That's what I think life's all about. You know, if I answer that question, I'm not sure. I ramble a lot, so if I talk too much, just say, Eric, calm down.
Eric, don't calm down.
I love everything that you covered there. And, you know, if there's one person that I know in our industry, it's you, that achieves so much in your life. I mean, honestly, I don't know how many days are there in your week, by the way?
You know, that's a great question.
I think, you know, people say, well, you got to have your family life, you got to have your business life, you got to have this life. I really love what I do. So there's no distinction. I mean, I'll go home tonight after shooting and edit pictures and, you know, have dinner with my wife, drink a little wine, but I'm not a TV guy. So I enjoy the pursuit of excellence in everything I do. So I do it all the time. And thank you for those kind words. I guess I'm a little insecure. So I still, like, one of my favorite books is Only the Paranoid Survive by Andrew Grove. And I think that says everything. I'm just enough paranoid that I want to make sure I do a really good job with everything and not let anybody down. I think that's it.
You don't.
Gotta write that down. I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down. All right. So, all right, boy, listen to me when I'm talking to you. Let's take a trip way back to when you first touched a tail comb. What brought you to school? What was it? What inspired you? What brought you in the direction? And what school was it? What state? What city? Give it to us.
Well, that's interesting. So both my parents are from back east, and they got married. My dad was in the military. My mother came from a big Catholic family, and she ended up going to Penn State and graduated magna cum laude with a degree in literature. And she was really smart. Only out of 12 kids, the only one that went to college, but she wanted to be a hairdresser. So my dad never went to college. He got kicked out of school when he was 14. He was a military guy, and he ended up becoming a test pilot. He took an intelligence test, was a very bright guy, became a test pilot for Boeing, moved to Wichita, Kansas. My mother decided to go into hair, and so she opened a place called Aristocrat Hair for Men and Women. She used to do my hair, and I don't know if she was any good, if she ever made any money, but she was passionate and loved what she did. So my dad was just a real tough, big military guy. And I always say the only time I saw my dad cry was when I told him I wanted to go to beauty school, because he just, you know, you should be a military guy, you know, but I said no. So he said, if you're going to do this, then you should be the best that you can be. So he was taking planes over to Kuwait, and he took a plane. I was about 19, 20 years old, over to London, dropped me off at Vidal Sassoon's. And I think it was there that, you know, my mother was always, it was always a commodity. I mean, she loved it and she was passionate about it, but it wasn't the art form. So when I saw all these people, you know, from all over the world coalesce in a tribal kind of way, producing these unbelievable results, my life changed. That was a turning point for me. And I said, this isn't about cutting hair. This is about art. And I got so excited. And I, you know, once I take a deep dive, baby, I'm like drinking the Kool-Aid. And that's what I did. I was, so I think that was the, you know, the cornerstone for me was, and then I came back and went to beauty school in Wichita, Kansas. I went to 2 beauty schools. I was kicked out of one and went to another one.
Why? No, wait. Why were you kicked out?
I got kicked out of high school. I was not the best guy when I was younger. I was
Say
not
it.
a troublemaker, but I was just
Say it.
kind of a rebellious guy, you know, and I could define quality pretty easy on. And so I was, you know, giving everybody.
Why were you kicked out? Was it, were you
a troublemaker? I was just causing trouble, you know, and, you know, I was always like that when I was younger. So, but luckily I've grown out of it. So I hope my wife would probably argue with you about that, but anyway, so that's how I got into it. And then, you know, I had a great job in New York working for Roger Thompson, who was a, you know, as you know, Sassoon protege, and it was a fabulous job. And then I got married to a girl from Wichita, and she would come visit to me. We actually got married in Italy. We did the Bologna show, and then went down to Rome and got married. And she said, let's open a salon. I said, listen, I barely made it through high school. You know, I don't know how to read a P&L. I can't even spell P&L. And you want to open a business? Well, she had a degree in microbiology. She's much smarter than I am. But she said, let's do it, because I don't want to move to New York. So, you know, she had cast a magic spell on me. And before you knew it, I was living in the basement of her sister's, and we built a salon. And
good. I love that story. Document that. Documented. There it is. There it is, Chris. That's the story. We got it.
Yeah.
Like milking the udder, getting it out. We haven't heard though what it was truly like. Did he light a cherry bomb in high school? Did he threaten
I
a
was
teacher?
fighting. High school was for fighting. I used to fight all the time. I was a very physical kid. My dad was a real redneck, so yeah, I had this big old 750 BSA Rocket 3 when I was 14. It was 1969. I chopped it out, rebuilt the engine, everything myself. And you know, I was not the you know, I've got a 19-year-old son, and I don't tell him any of these stories about me when I was a kid, because he's such a great boy. You know, he's so good, and you know. Anyway, but you know, that's those experiences make you who you are today. So I've learned a lot. You know.
Absolutely. And you learned how to survive. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Those things are important. So which living person do you most admire and why?
Living person, you know, I mean, I admire my teachers here at the school because they give 100% and they are unbelievable. I admire every one of them for their commitment, and they do a great job. We have, you know, 170 students or something like that they manage, and they do fabulous. Our dropout rate is 0. I think they do a great job. They're an inspiration to everybody. I really admire them. I admire my hairdressers that, you know, are working so hard diligently, even through Corona. They no problems with masks, and they put up with all the PPE, all the stuff we had to do, our due diligence with that. They were amazing. We have over, I think, 100 hairdressers, and they were fabulous. And I really admire them. I admire my wife a lot for allowing me to be so self-indulgent with my life. She's been fantastic. Elon Musk, I think, is such a disruptor. I think he's incredible. We can all take lessons. I was lucky enough to do his mother's hair one time, and I asked him all about what was your son like?
What?
Yeah, she was amazing. May is her name. May
Yes, of course I know May.
Do you know May? Yeah, beautiful model.
Of course.
Yeah.
She's very stunning with her white hair, right?
She's in, you know, all these campaigns, and
yeah,
there's so many people to admire. I admire that, you know, everybody on this call, you know, I don't know who can say most. I mean, that's a tough one, but you know, I have admiration for anybody that gets out of bed and you know, works hard and is dedicated, enjoys life. I admire the people that do that, you know.
You know,
Thank you.
That is so cool. May Musk, you little shyster.
Right.
Go figure. Go figure. Standing room only. I'll give you standing room only. All right, so I wanna tell you, you know, you were a mentor to me, and we're the same age. So if you can imagine that I was working in a salon, busting my balls to try to be like someone, and you truly were a mentor, not knowing how the hell I would ever get to know you, let alone speak to you like I am now and in the years past. Because Zenon, you know, I always talk about Zenon. He was like right? I waited 9 months to go to Chicago and see Zenon. But there you were. And I'll never forget this day, Eric. This is something I'll never forget. It's 3 pages in my personal journal. We were working a hair show together. You were in the distance, all your surrounding audience, standing room only. And I don't know what it was, but I went pee. I had to go to the bathroom. So I went into the bathroom to go pee. And as I'm relieving myself and thinking about what I'm going to say when I get on stage, you came in next to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm peeing next to Eric Fisher. Do I say something? Do I say, hey, Eric, hey, boy, how you doing? Chat later, lunch? I mean, what do you do? So here, Chris, he comes in, we just pee, and then he leaves. I'm like, shit, there was my damn opportunity to get to meet this person that I've looked up to.
Well, I'm glad you didn't shake my hands with your pet.
That's a true story, by the way. That's a Chicago show. It was the ABS show, Chicago.
That's funny.
Yep. And I want to congratulate you also, because our academy now is using Prosper You, and I commend you, because one of the greatest things in life is to get everyone to drink the Kool-Aid, right? And you have done that in a really respectful way. I respect you so much, and also the people that are working for Prosper You. It has changed our academy, and I don't need to ask you where that came from, because obviously that was what you were practicing in your school. But are you aware what you've just done, Mr. Icon Standing Room Only
Well,
made?
first of all, you are too kind to me. And
No, I'm not.
I'm a very humble guy, and I'm not ego-driven at all. So I really appreciate those kind words. Thank you. And Prosper You is it's a program that we developed here, and actually it's everything that we did in the salons to hit our key benchmark numbers and make a livings for all the stylists. So we knew that there was more than just hair, that these guys had to understand the numbers. And even though people don't like them, creators don't like numbers, but numbers are the key things. We pay attention to our miles and our calories and our steps. Why not pay attention to things that are most important in your life?
Right.
Your average ticket and your retail sales. And so that's where Prosper You came in. We've had, I think we're up to, I don't know, or over 15,000 students. So we're very proud of that.
I am so happy for you. And can I also just say one more thing, and then I'll throw it over to Chris? God darn it all. The way you put everything to cartoon, beautiful color attracts me. I'm not an Excel spreadsheet man either. That makes me break out in a rash. But the way that you've put together this beautiful yumminess, kudos to you. Kudos to you.
You are kind. We know that students need engagement and they have short attention spans, and you've got to make a mark, and you got to do it as expeditiously as you possibly can. And as we hired some of the smartest people that we could find with Prosper You to tell us how to get our story over to our user group as expeditiously as possible. And
Chris, not to interrupt you, Eric, but Chris, did you ever see his Prosper You book? Isn't it brilliant? Isn't it brilliant?
Well, you guys are too kind. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm not trying to get on your Christmas list. I'm just being very honest. Chris?
Well, it's fun.
Well, I am trying to get on your Christmas list, Eric. So, to me, you've been one of the most handsome men in our industry. Always, and always beautifully presented. So I'm going to ask you, what do you most dislike about your appearance?
Jesus.
Wow. I should have read those questions that you sent.
I think this is.
My son, my dad was a big guy. My wife's dad was a big guy. My son's 19. He's 6'5" and weighs 225. He's a giant. Played AAU basketball. And one day he said to me, he said, "Dad, what was it like growing up short?" And I'm like, I always thought I was perfect. I did. And now I've got an inferiority complex thanks to my son. I didn't know I was short. So I try to tell my children, I have 4 children, my students, that, we're all blessed. And we just have to look at those blessings and be thankful. So I think, what would I redo? I'd be taller, better handsome, better talker. I don't know. There's a lot of things I'd change probably, but I'm okay with me too, So that's a funny question. That's
Can I
look more like Brad Pitt, I think, if I could. My wife loves him.
How tall are you, Mr. Shortman?
5'10", 5'10" and a half.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I peed next to you and we were almost eye to eye, and I'm 5'11".
Yeah, I was 5'11". I think I've shrunk a little bit, but.
Listen, you want to tell your son my height is how it feels to be short when you're 5'3",
Oh, yikes. Yeah, well, I'm gonna that was interesting. That was really good. You are a blast. All right, so you've been known to have I wrote it down here, 4 steps to bringing clients back. Does this ring a bell? Can you
Yeah,
give me at least, can you give me like at least one out of the four that you think is greatly ready to be passed over into the mind of students or young stylists?
you know, I think of all things that, you know, especially in today's world, that it's a relationship driven business. You know, if they like you, I think you're way ahead of the game. So I think that initial contact, that exchange of energy that you have to have with your guests, looking them in the eye, listening intently, paying attention, pretending like they're the most important person on the face of the planet. I think those would all be things that I would do as a student. And if you're not good at that, if you're shy or diffident or whatever it happens to be, I would practice my connection with people. And that is so vitally important. At the first 2 or 3 minutes is not about business, it's about relationship. And
Yeah.
you make sure you got to lean in, nod your head up and down, confirm everything they're saying. And there's got to be, you know, and write those things down. So the next time you see them, you can say, how was that summer vacation? Or, you know, hey, you look at, how are your kids? How was your husband's promotion? How was your promotion? Whatever it is. So I just think paying attention is probably, and treating people like they're important.
Yeah.
Key
You know,
factor.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, Eric. You know what I think is interesting with you saying that? I think it's only until we develop our own confidence in ourselves that we have the balls to be able to say those things to a client.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from. It's not because we don't want to, we just don't know how.
Well,
Right.
and you're so right. And you know how you learn to do it? You practice and practice and practice. You form the habit and you say to yourself, today for 30 seconds, and you at 8 o'clock in the morning for 30 seconds, I'm going to practice. Hey, how are you? It's great to see you. You know, you look amazing. Great shoes. What a beautiful day. And then the next day you go, okay, I'm going to do it for 30 seconds, but guess what? You do it for 45 seconds. And the next day, I'm just going to do it for 30 seconds, but guess what? You do it for 2 minutes. And then the next day, and then at the end of the week or the end of 2 weeks or the end of 3 weeks, you are totally different. I can give you a great example. My daughter, Perry, the one that had heart surgery, is 26 years old. She's a very beautiful, beautiful girl. And she was always kind of shy, diffident, and not outgoing. And then she became an esthetician, and she was a waxer in San Francisco at this chain of places. And she was the #1 waxer out of probably 100 waxers. She had the best Yelp reviews, best retail sales, best of everything. And a lot of that's because she helped me with Prosper You, writing it out years ago. But she said, Dad, when you're waxing, when you're doing a manzillion to a guy, you've got to connect with them. You cannot just say, all right, come on in here, in my room, take your clothes off. You got to say, hey, how's it going? Hey, did you see the game the other night? Was that fabulous? Hey, I just ate at this new sushi place. You've got to try it. It's really good. You like sushi? You know, if you're not, you know, in that space, then man,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
go really fast. But I had her, you know, she felt, you know, emasculated by her shyness. I had her practice. So just 30 seconds a day. Never set your goals too high. That's a mistake a lot of people make. Set your goals really, really low so you can achieve them. And then set newer ones and bigger ones. And that's what she did. And she became the #1. I was so proud of her. #1 waxer in the whole company.
But
That's
just with
awesome.
men, right?
I did more men than anybody. I got to tell you, it was amazing. I go, you know, I said, if I was going to buy a franchise and move back to Kansas, she goes, Dad, I don't think Kansas is going to have the same clientele that San Francisco has. Totally different. I said, you're right.
True.
Totally right there.
True.
That's hilarious.
True.
Oh my goodness. God bless her. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, I'm speechless on that one. I'm not even going to comment.
Yeah, she's.
But it's you know, it's one more thing that we know about you.
You just never know.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, right. Exactly.
What's been your biggest disappointment?
My biggest disappointment, I've got to tell you, my biggest disappointment is in myself when I have students that graduate from this school. And by the way, I give every student my phone number for 13 years, and they don't make it. You know, they've got the capability, but they don't have the commitment. They never reach that sweet spot. And it breaks my heart because they could do so well. And I've Chris, I've talked to them about you, what a great female role model you are, and what the possibilities are. They've got to be possibility thinkers, and they've got to work hard and focus in. And when they don't want to work hard, they've got talent, they've got everything going for them, but that commitment. And I think that I'm a pretty influential guy. And when I'm around them, they drink the Kool-Aid. But once I'm not around them, then they fall into their bad, pernicious habits.
Yep.
Then I lose them. And then when I hear, like I just had a girl doing Naha, beautiful girl, and she was a model for the makeup. And I go, hey, where are you working? I haven't seen you in a long time. She goes, oh, I'm a hostess at this restaurant. I go, you're an esthetician, you're not working? She goes, you know what? I don't know. I just lost my motivation. I go, I let you down is what happened. So my biggest disappointment is that I can't, hold these guys' hands through what I consider to be the greatest career. I mean, my 19-year-old son's going to KU, and he's a good-looking kid. And I said, you should go to your dad's beauty school. Your dad could make you famous. You could have so much fun. I traveled the world as a hairdresser, Gabe. You could do the same thing. I've done it. I've worked in London, Paris. I mean, I could set it up for you. And he goes, nah, Dad, I think I'd just rather go to college, have the college experience. So, which is fine with me. I have two of my kids are in the industry, but anyway, I try to talk everybody into it. My biggest disappointment is that I can't continue the influence and get them, in that sweet spot where they're good, they love what they're doing, they go to work because they want to be there, not because they have to. And it's hard for me as a leader in the industry. It's hard. And that's my biggest disappointment.
Do you think, Eric, that there's any particular trait that you've discovered over the years? And actually, Joseph, you too, with your students, what can we do to help them stay motivated?
I personally think that the better that you are at something, the more motivated you are to keep on doing it. That's not always true. I know a lot of really smart guys that are smart that are doing things because they're so smart, but they don't really like doing them, like research and things like that. But I think that, I was lucky because I played music as a kid and put myself to beauty school, working nights since I was 13, 14 years old. So I know how to practice. So practicing, I wanted to be this great musician, but I wasn't good enough. And I recognized that as a young man. But I think if they would practice harder and, gone are the days, and you guys know about this, we've talked. Like a good friend of mine from London, Angelo DePasca, who has been my friend since we were in our early 20s, came to Wichita, Kansas. He saw me at a show and he came, he said, you teach me how to cut hair, I'll teach you how to finish hair. And I go, who is this, obnoxious, pretentious guy, right? But he came in, we were 6 months, we never turned the TV on. Every night it was hair, hair, hair. I worked during the days, we did hair. He'd sleep on the sofa, we wouldn't even make it to the bedroom. He was such a wonderful guy. And then I had a girlfriend in New York, Cheryl Marks, who was wonderful. She used to work for Sassoon. Then Jingles, I go see her. And all we did, we did other things, of course, but we focused on hair.
Easy.
It was hair all the time. And her friends would come over for Jingles, and it was such a great, amalgamation of such great talent that you just wanted more and more and more. And the problem is we are who we associate with. And these kids today, are not in that, that impressionist period where all the impressionists coalesced together, and people don't do that anymore. And I think I remember driving to see Horst in Houston, slept in my car, and just to see him at a salon with 6 people. I saw Paul Mitchell, maybe a little salon. I just went because I knew Paul Mitchell. I'd do anything to watch these guys. I went to London 1,000 times. I ate cucumber sandwiches just to be at Bedell Sassoon's and hang out with Flint and all those guys in the early days that were so amazing. I worked for Roger Thompson in New York. I was in awe just to watch Roger, how he'd comb a head of hair, or Christopher Brooker, how he'd flick his little comb. And, it was brilliant. I just wanted to be that good. Always wanted to be that good. And I think that desire to be great maybe isn't there. Maybe they're not as hungry, or they don't need as much. And I don't know, technology is a great thing. I mean, I love technology for what it does, but it's also a very bad thing because, it steals your energy. There are things like I put my phone away every morning. I read for an hour. I will say that about me. I'm a very disciplined individual. So before I check my emails, my blogs, an hour reading, no phone, turn off everything, nothing electronic. I get a book, a real book, and I read it. And I think, you've got to, there's a price to pay for success. And I still feel like, I formed the habit of doing all that, but I just don't think young people maybe want to do what we all did when we were younger, and I don't know, maybe you feel differently, but that's kind of what I feel. Some do, but
I completely 1000% agree with you. So does Joseph. And it's so sad that they don't know what they don't know. And for us, it was a part of our lives that we got very excited about because there wasn't social media, there wasn't influencers, there wasn't all of these outside get rich quick kind of,
yes.
motivations and inspirations. It was different. You had to work for nothing. You had to sweep the floor for 3 years before they'd even put a comb in your hand. It was very different. And that's why I think iConixxx in the library that we're building is probably our last shot at being able to influence the kids that are coming through and the kids we haven't even met yet. They're just in diapers.
The sad thing is, I mean, I have a lot of my students that have never heard of it, Elsa Soon, Luis Longaris, all the guys, Joseph. And like with our salons, we're very busy. I think we do 14,000 services a month or something. But we work with assistants, and the assistants they imprint to the culture of our company. They become, out of all the hairdressers, I've trained every one of them. So every Tuesday night we have staff training. Every Monday night we have long hairdressing, barbering, color. But every Tuesday night is the creative director, Trish, and myself, and we have a team of trainers, and we train. And we've done it for 32 years. Every Tuesday, we never miss. I'm very militant about it. And it's a 2-year training program. You have to go to class for 2 years, and you have to apprentice for 2 years. Now, you get paid to go to class, but and I just had a good friend of mine from Seattle come with his staff, and another person of mine who's got a big 100 staff salon, and nobody can get assistants anymore. Nobody wants to work their own companies. They just don't. I struggle. And these guys love me, and they're great. They want to go to work now. They don't want to say, I don't want to pay my dues. You've taught me well. I'm capable. I want to go do it. And so even me, I struggle with getting people to want to work for my company, as we have to have assistants, because the double bookers, guess what? They make the big money, and they make the big money because they work fast and they work 2 or 3 clients at a time. They have to have assistants. And the assistants learn so much, color formulas, how to do quick, great blowouts, and all this stuff. Plus they train constantly because we're a learning organization. But that even being said, it's very difficult. I think we have maybe 12 or 15 right now, and we could probably easily add another 5, but it's like pulling teeth. So our 2-year program went down to 1 year. Now it's 1 year, but they get to go on the floor, but they have to test out. But the test out's really easy now, unfortunately. And, my crew is mad at me for sacrificing quality. And I tell them, sometimes you have to give up some of your core values to achieve the goals you want, because if we don't change the way we are never going to be successful. We're gonna lose what we had. So it's a tough part. It's what I don't like. The ones that are there are really committed. They work their asses off. They 50-hour work weeks. They're like me. They're really great. I just wish there were more people that want to work that hard.
I'll come.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to live in Wichita.
Yeah. I'd love to bring you guys in just to do, just to talk to them, do demos. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, why not? I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Young iConixxx youth.
That's what we should do. The iConixxx put together some type of educational platform where we travel and.
I'm just gonna say 2 things, and and one is what Chris said. First of all, I highlight that. If I could highlight that with a big yellow highlighter, I believe iConixxx, created by all of us, is going to be our last hurrah, because everything you're saying right now, Eric, is 100% spot on. You and I see the same way because we were brought up that way. I still have an associate. I've done the majority of training, and I train trainers. So I totally get what you're saying. There is a disconnect, of course, with another form of stylist that gets branched off on their own. And I think sometimes the youth just don't see the importance of establishing their cutting skill. And they get so diluted that I know that in my academy, everything is, they want to color that. And I mean, they want to color everything.
Well,
I mean, I could change my wall color weekly if I wanted to. They just want to paint.
If I could just speak to your point there, all of us grew up in a time when you picked up Vogue magazine and Linda Evangelista was on the cover with a freaking awesome little step bob or something. And, the work was fabulous. And everybody, when I worked for Roger, New York, we didn't cut hair below the shoulders. Everybody had these little, really cute, clients were fabulous. I loved it. Edwards Oldie magazine, we did great work. I opened my salon, same thing. Everything was great. If that graduated haircut wasn't perfect, guess what? You got in trouble. You had to bring that client back in and recut their hair because that level of quality was so good.
It was.
Level of quality. But you don't have that today. You've got beach waves, which is good. It's fine. But, and I will say at the school, if you guys saw the school, I mean, we have probably close to $1 million salon floor. And I say that braggingly because the students bring the clients back, and we're talking nice little graduated, disconnection, short round grads with disconnected tops, pink hair, blue hair. They are really doing a great job. And I force them because I force the teachers, push the envelope, and the women that are, in their 60s are wearing great little bobs and wearing great little disconnections, little asymmetries. You know why? Because they grew up in that Sassoon era where good hair cutting was everything. They recognize, the younger kids are not doing it. They're shaving their sides and doing the top. They're doing a pink and blue, and the students are learning from it. No question about it. But I don't know. Things change. I guess everything changes. I'm old school. I'm analog, I guess. So it's harder for me to drink that Kool-Aid. I'm always pushing for excellence, always. And I think that's your standard. You've got to live by your standards,
You know what? Your standard is looked up to quite highly because one of the things that I recognized at sitting at many Nahas I've been to is the Eric Fisher always placed in the student category. And I'm going to say this story right now because in the beginning when I first had my academy, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have a school. I can go in and teach. I can go in and show all these things. I can show, being an originator of compass cutting and principle-based cutting. I mean, this is where I'm at. I'm going to show them. They're going to learn all this stuff. And what ends up happening is it's the state board, it's the NACIS, it's the rules, it's the regulations. And, I, like you, I was like that in high school too, by the way. I got kicked out. I never graduated high school. But I will tell you that I'm told to not come in to school some days because they don't want my obnoxious rule-breaking self to be there. And I believe that's what's brought me
back in the day.
No, now. Now. I mean, now. Now. But when I'm there, I'm playful. I'm playful in a very educated way. And my tongue is sharp because I know what it is that they want. And they want to not do this cutting stuff. And it's a struggle. And I think what would be great is that iConixxx develops into going all the way back to the beginning. And once we start showing what's hot, except for that haircut I gave Cassie, we won't do that. But do you guys get
You
it?
got a
Like,
haircut.
do you understand?
Fun.
I mean, we're not dead yet. I
Well,
mean, if
everything comes back. So, you look at what Prada's doing right now with their 50s looks. I love those. I just watched a fantastic TV show, Amazing, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or something.
yes, yes,
You guys haven't seen it. It's so good. Clothes, the makeup is
yep,
fabulous here. So I think, I just hope that we're around to see the change. And we
yep,
still, like I say, you have to sacrifice a few of your values to accomplish your goals, but you've got to be very careful that those values aren't dear to your heart, because if they are, like, we have certain standards that I just refuse to capitulate on. I want things. I love being a good hairdresser. It's one of my favorite things I can say about myself. At the end of the day, I feel good that I can do what I do, and I still want to practice and get better at it. So
yeah. Well,
I think that desire is gone. That desire, and it's not gone with everybody, but it's a generalization. But and people look at photography like I like to take pictures. I take all my NAHA pictures, and they see stuff. Photography's gotten so democratized anymore. You look at pictures, oh, it's fabulous, it's great, and I look at it, oh, that's a piece of shit. What's good about it? The exposure is wrong. The composition's bad. You're not following any rules whatsoever. It's why do you think this is so good? Why does everybody think it's good? It's not good. So me, I'm a studier of Paulo Roversi and all the great photographers, Koninsky. I've got a million photographic books. I take a course every year in photography so I can get better and better and better. But what I try to do is develop my eye so I can see. And I want to see better so I can understand reoccurring patterns and gradations in light. And Da Vinci said something that was really good. He says, people look, but they don't see. They touch, but they don't feel. They listen, but they don't really hear. And that is so true. It's true of me. It's true of everybody. And it's because our brains are so bombarded with so much stuff all the time that, especially these damn things, they're like the worst. And we lose track of who we are, where we are, our focus, and we just go through life existing and not making a difference. So I don't know. It's frustrating for me. I don't know how to combat it. I just do my best for my students, for my staff, for my children. That's all I can do.
it's a little bit of a struggle, because I really would like to see the curriculum change. I think there should be more Black hair being taught in school, ethnicity, and there isn't. I believe that as I say that I'm pretty good at what I do when it comes to, custom wigs or extensions. That's kind of what they want. And it's not in the curriculum's old too. Do you know what I'm saying? So I look at it from that is where I want to change things. And it's tough. It's tough, but
they obviously have to pass state board, but at the same time, do kids really want to learn about the anatomy of the hand or how to do nails? I don't think so. I don't think they need the pin curls. I mean, I did do a finger wave set for a famous photographer in LA one time. He loved it. Took me 3 hours, Albert Sanchez. But that stuff that is old and anachronistic, I just don't see that has value. So I will say my state board hates me because we don't follow the rules. I'm a rule breaker, but they love me because our students are so damn good, So it's a double-edged sword, sometimes you have to break the rules, and
it is.
And do what you want the dropout rate to increase, show them something they're bored with. You want them to stay in school, inspire them, be an inspiration, show them things that are amazing that they, and get them excited. Because when they see.
Really, you really have to put 3 perm rods in a head? 3? What the hell is that all about? It used to be a whole freaking head when it was hot and cool to do. But now it's like, are you joking? I'm right there with you, Eric. I really, really am. The state board doesn't like me too much either because I've adjusted some things that I feel are important. One being, you don't learn cutting on the 13th month. Are you joking?
Day
I
one,
put that
baby.
right in the beginning.
Day
Right in
one.
the beginning.
Yeah. Good for you. That's where it should be, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, we'll
Think if you were
continue
a
to.
chef and you went to cooking school and you spent the first 13 weeks learning about the refrigerators and the coolants and how the stove works with gas and the kind of pans you should be using. I mean, that's all well and good, and it's probably appropriate at some point in time, but you know, inspire kids. They have short attention spans. Get to the
Yeah.
point. Get
Eat the
point.
food first. Eat the
Yeah.
food first.
Yes. Oh my God. Let me show you how we made this dish.
Yes.
We made it like this. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we both agree on that. That being said, it's still a fabulous industry. I love it. I
It
wouldn't.
is.
I'd change a few things, you know.
It is.
But at least that we still have schools. You know, they're talking about doing away with licenses and all that. So, you know, that's a big deal. I heard a podcast.
You know what I'm gonna do, Eric? I'm gonna have T-shirts made. I'll get one for Chris too, and for women's. But I think our T-shirts should say "Rebels with a Cause."
Yeah, I'll wear it. I painted
Right?
this one last night. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. See, maybe we'll have to have you make one for us.
Yeah. Or Andy. Eric, what's been your most embarrassing moment, professionally or personally? Don't hold back.
That's so many. I mean, I cut the top of a girl's ear off one time in the salon.
Oh.
The top completely off. I mean, she was going around here and she moved her head and just sliced the top off. That was, and it bled. You know, when you cut somebody on the ear, it bled really, really bad. Emergency room. Yeah, that was embarrassing. I was doing a show doing a shoot for Cosmopolitan Greek Cosmo in Greek islands, and got really drunk on an island and missed the boat and didn't know where I was and nobody spoke English. That was really embarrassing. Yeah, that was really embarrassing. I didn't know how to get back on the boat. I don't think they even knew I was gone. So,
oh my God.
Oh, they were glad.
Oh, yeah. Fell off a stage in San Francisco, a big, huge, like 5-foot stage. I was the creative director for Joyco out in Los Angeles for 8 years. And I used to do these business programs. So I was talking to a group in San Francisco and I was doing a PowerPoint. And I just kept backed up. I backed off the stage and there was probably 500 people there. And they're like, oh, I'm okay. It was part of the show. It really was. I'm okay. I think I like my hip. I broke my hip or something, broke a foot, broke my knee, my back, everything. It hurt so bad. But, you know, I just got back on stage and kept going. That was so embarrassing. So I have so many embarrassing things. I can't even tell you. I mean, there's too many to even talk about.
Yeah.
I'm always making a fool of myself, you know? I mean, it's a common occurrence with me. It is, you know, I've no shame. It just happens.
I want to ask the time capsule. Do you mind, Chris?
No,
Chris,
please, I'm
so-
dying to hear it.
Yeah, Eric. So we've got a time capsule that we are going to bury, and it's going to be opened in 50 years. And what would you like them, a stylist, a student, to pull out of the time capsule? And it reads, Eric Fisher. What would you like it to read below that? Something of a footprint that you've left in this industry?
That's interesting. I would probably say that, you know, I made a difference. I inspired my students to go on to bigger, better things, painted a good picture. I was, you know, kind, benevolent, caring, went beyond the call of duty whenever possible for individuals, and good father. You know, I think my kids think I'm a good father, good husband, just a good business owner, smart guy that ran good businesses. And I gave back to the community as much as possible. I would probably say something to that effect. That's my sense of purpose is now, you know, I've made enough money. I've traveled, I've done so much, had such a great life. I just, you know, it's time you start giving back. I mean, we went over, my son-in-law yesterday went over to a client's house, his wife died. He's a wonderful guy. He's 80 and he can't take care of the yard. So we all went over and spent about 4 hours, just, tore down trees and mowed the lawn and, tore down a fence just to help him, So I guess, that's my sense of purpose, is to change people's lives as much as I can. I mean, I'm a hairdresser. I come in contact with a lot of people. It's not like, I'm going to give $1 million here and $1 million there, or start an institution or anything. But this is what I can do. You do what you can, and so I think it's important to give to your community. So I think that would be, I would hope so. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good question, but that's a rambling on question. I don't know.
I think that was actually really, really good. You definitely struck a chord in me, and I feel like I need to get going.
Well, you give a lot. You got
to do some more. Like when I get done here, I don't know who the neighbor is across the street. They don't show themselves much, but I'll go over and offer to cut their grass. I'll just feel better. I'll just feel better.
Well, it was good for my son and my son-in-law.
Yeah, that was very nice.
See that you got to give. You got to be a giver. And, you get a lot more by giving than you do by taking. So
I agree. I agree, buddy. God, I agree so much. I feel every week that we interview just one more amazing stylist, artist, entrepreneur, philanthropist. Shame on any parents that come in and say, really, should this be what my kid gets into, or should they go to school for 4 years first? I know you hear that a lot.
Spend $100,000 and I have a lot of rich friends, and when we get together and their kids are going to Notre Dame or something, and occasionally one of these Pizza Hut started in Wichita, so one of these Pizza Hut guys worth a lot of money will say, my son really wants to go to beauty school. Give me the real skinny on it. And I'll go, I think it's the best profession in the world. We have a lot of our stylists make 6 figures. We have health care. We have 2 weeks, 3 weeks paid vacation. We have 401ks. I match up to 4%. We have paid time off. We have education. I said, they go, well, that's a legitimate business. I go, well, of course it is. They can make a great living. Not only that, but they look forward to going to work.
Of course.
And they know what they do. And unlike a lot of guys that, take a different path and end up with school debt that's insurmountable, and they don't like what they do. And I hear that all the time. So at least with what we do, I still love it. I still cut hair 2 days a week behind the chair, and I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. A lot in common you and I have, young man. A lot in common. We're even getting this color together.
You're both young and handsome.
Oh,
we're getting this. Yeah. We've come a long way, baby.
Oh, baby, right?
Yeah. You know what? Eric Fisher, Sir Eric Fisher, you amazing man. Thank you for being such a great friend to both Chris and I and everyone else. I just want to share with you that this is just the beginning of something that's going to flip or click, and you're now going to be asked to be a part of it. And I know you have a choice of who you wish to hang around. But if we find out it's not Chris or I, you're off our Christmas list. Do you understand what I'm talking to you? Are you hearing me? Are you listening to what I'm saying?
I hear you, dog.
Oh, yes. Chris, what do you have to say in closing?
What do I have to say to this gorgeous man, Eric? It's been so long since I've seen you. You never, ever disappoint me. I can listen to you all the time. You're such an inspiration. You're such a good person. And I didn't know that you were a rebel when you were young. So that makes you even better.
But great stories to tell you sometime, let me tell you.
Cool. Yeah, we'll have to prop up a bar somewhere. So thank you so much. And, more importantly, Eric, thank you for inspiring Joseph to do this, because you are the inspiration behind iConixxx. And
yes.
I can't thank you enough, because I think it's brilliant what we're doing, and The library is now building with some amazing people, and we're not done anytime soon. So thank you. And yeah, we should all come out to Wichita.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Wonderful. I appreciate the amazing accolades. And, you know, I'm going to go home, and I wish I could show this to my wife and say, listen, watch these. They really like me. You got to start liking me a little bit more like these guys.
Hey, listen, Eric, by the end of the week, it'll be up on our YouTube channel.
Okay,
So
good.
you can give her something to watch for the evening.
She won't watch me anymore. I just did this little TV show, and I go, you know, why don't you watch this? She goes, I live with you. I live with
Yeah,
you.
I know.
live with you
I
better
get
than
it.
senior shows. I've done this.
I get it.
She's like over. I mean, I won't say she's over me. I mean, she still loves me. I love her a lot. You know, we got this great thing going on, but you know, I'm just her husband. That's what I am. So, you know, which is great. That's the way it should be. You know, quite honestly, you know, I have a deep appreciation for her, respect her tremendously. But thank you too for having me on. This has been a gas. I really appreciate it. If there's ever anything I can do for the two of you, three of you, I love the little Lima girl. She was fabulous. Of course, just, and if any of the listeners are in Wichita, America, come in and see the show. We have visitors all the time from all over. Come watch, hang out. In fact, I got somebody here from Los Angeles right now doing a demo. So yeah, so
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
All the time. So yeah, anybody's around, come see me at a show. You see me with a Quaz, just come back. I'll take you backstage and show you what's going on. And we ever do shows again, you know, with this whole thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will. We will. You know, we will.
Oh, yeah. They can't keep us hairdressers down.
No, they can't. Chris Sorby, Eric Fisher. All right. So listen, Eric, do me a favor, man. Share this love, share this information. There are really, really good iConixxx on here in the YouTube documentary library that possibly your students would love to listen to as well. We're not biased to any company. We can't be. It's just not what we're made up of. You know, we're an artist that use all different brushes from all different companies. And I think that's the way it needs to stay. And I'm going to leave you with this in mind. I think with the power that we have, we will start a whole different training, iConixxx training syllabus, right? Where we can integrate it into the schools, where all of us can come back and share with it what we know now, because their students aren't, you brought this up, students aren't seeing what we saw. So now we all together, I think, are in the same train moving forward. And stick with us, share it as much as you can. We'll be back to talk to you probably more. And I know there's going to be an iConixxx iConixxx student contest. There just will be, and your students will need to be involved.
Like the idea.
Yeah, I do too.
There's just one more thing. Next week, we have two people who I believe you know. Is David Stanko. The other one is Maggie Mulhern.
Oh.
So what would you say to people to make sure that they come and hang out with us for that 1 hour?
First of all, David is an amazing hairdresser, and just what an amazing individual. He's charismatic. He's, you know, just fabulous. I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. Maggie Mulhern, I've known since I did my first shoot in New York when I was in my early 20s on the Brooklyn Bridge with her. And we had so much fun together. And she is one like you, Chris, that never ages. I see her, you know, periodically at the shows. I just love her to death. And she's magnificent. She's the industry. She knows more than anybody what this industry is like. So Maggie, you know, she's been the beauty editor for Modern forever, and she's just a fabulous individual. And I wouldn't miss it. You know, if I think I'm in town next week, I'll definitely tune in and make sure I don't miss that. That's great.
We'll send you the info.
Cool.
Good questions. Good. Thank you, Eric, very much. Thank you very, very, very much. And good luck to your daughter's healing. I mean it. and you never really were too short for me. I never really thought about that. Chris,
And you've
you know
always
what?
been super tall for me.
Yeah, right.
Beautiful. Great.
So on that note, we're out. It comes to not an end. It comes to a beginning. And thank you for all the inspiration. I wrote down a lot of things today, and I will be reaching out to you very soon. All right, buddy? All right, my friend.
Have a good one.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Love you.
Bye.